It's been nearly 2 years since a class action lawsuit was filed against the federal government claiming systemic discrimination against Black employees in the federal public service. Today, the nonprofit organization coordinating the suit launched a new chapter for Francophone civil servants. And Angela, they want to encourage French-speaking workers to share their stories.
Well, Maya, when the proposed class action was filed in December 2020, members of the Black Class Action Secretariat say most of the testimonies they received from Black employees in the public service were from Anglophones. So with this new chapter, they're hoping to encourage Black Francophones working in government to come forward and share their experiences and join the class action. Now, the proposed class action seeks $2.5 billion in damages. It alleges the failure of the government to hire and promote Black employees and claims decades of systemic discrimination and harassment in the workplace, saying many are passed over for promotions or not hired at all because of the color of their skin. The plaintiffs are also accusing the government of using stall tactics, including filing its own lawsuit to get the case dismissed on the grounds it should be handled through labor grievances or the Canadian Human Rights Commission. Jessica Lumumba is one of the plaintiffs. She's worked for 15 years in the Foreign Service, and she says she's been recalled from postings abroad multiple times for reasons that aren't the same for her white colleagues. In one example, she says she was posted overseas, but her son was struggling. She decided to send him back to Canada to live with family for the remainder of her posting. Here's what she says happened next.
It wasn't what the ambassador at the time wanted, so she decided to make the decision for me and basically said the government of Canada is not interested in breaking up families and you should be going back home with your son. So these little microaggressions were, or aggressions were made toward me as a Black woman because, like I said, many of my peers were, without their family. So how is their motherhood not being questioned and mine was?
So the head of the Black Class Action Secretariat, Nicholas Marcus Thompson, says part of the issue here is that there's not enough Black people in the public service in leadership roles. And he says workers who file complaints rarely have success through the grievance process, and many fear reprisals for speaking out. And he says many Francophone women face even more layers of discrimination on the job for being Black, for being a woman, and French-speaking.
Mothers and grandmothers who dedicated their lives to serving Canada and are retiring in entry-level positions in the public service. The same positions that they started in, they're retiring in those positions, causing significant impact not only on themselves, mentally and physically, but their families. When you retire, your pension is based on your best 5 years.
Now, his organization is also calling for an apology from the Prime Minister, an external reporting mechanism to report harassment or misconduct, and a compensation fund. Now, we've reached out to the Treasury Board of Canada regarding the allegations, but we didn't receive a response by our deadline. Maya?
All right, thank you very much, Angela, and we will have more on this story a little later in the newscast.